The lights dimmed across the massive AGT stage as a hush fell over the audience. From the shadows emerged a young Filipino boy, introduced by the host not just as a singer, but as the richest boy from the Philippines. The crowd, expecting arrogance or overconfidence, watched closely as he stepped forward, dressed neatly but with no trace of pride on his face. He bowed his head humbly and softly said, "This song is for everyone who dreams." The audience grew silent, surprised by his sincerity. Then, with a guitar in hand, he began to strum the haunting opening chords of Hotel California. The first line left the entire hall breathless. His voice wasn't just strong, it carried weight, a raw mix of emotion that painted every lyric with soul and meaning. Simon leaned forward instantly, eyes sharp, as if trying to capture every nuance, while Heidi placed a hand over her mouth in awe. The camera cut to the audience, where a Filipino mother pressed her hands to her heart, tears streaming down her cheeks, while nearby an American veteran closed his eyes, nodding along, carried back to his own memories by the timeless song. As the boys sang the chorus, flags of both nations rose high in the crowd, waving together in celebration of music's power to unite people. His voice soared higher with each verse, breaking boundaries, echoing through the arena until every person was standing. The atmosphere shifted from quiet awe to an eruption of applause, as though both the USA and Philippines were standing shoulder to shoulder in one voice. With the last note, he closed his eyes, the guitar falling silent. The ovation that followed was not just applause, it was victory, emotion, and history captured in a single unforgettable moment. Unfolded, the performance grew into something far beyond an ordinary audition. The boy's fingers danced on the guitar strings with flawless precision, each note resonating through the theater like a heartbeat. His voice carried not only the melody but also the soul of generations, mixing the pain of longing with the fire of triumph. The camera zoomed in on Simon Cowell, who leaned so close to the table it looked as though he might stand at any moment. Heidi's eyes glistened, Sophia whispered something under her breath, and Howie shook his head in disbelief at the control and emotion pouring out of someone so young. The crowd, already enchanted, began to sway in unison. Some sang along softly, while others were too overcome with emotion to do anything but cry. In one section, a group of Filipinos held up the flag proudly, tears streaming as they shouted his name. Just rows away, American fans were clapping along, their voices joining in during the chorus, proving the song had no borders, no barriers, only unity. Every lyric seemed to carry a message, that dreams, whether born in Manila or in New York, could touch hearts anywhere in the world. The boy closed his eyes as he reached the final verse, his voice cracking with emotion but soaring higher than ever before, filling the arena with an energy so powerful it felt like everyone's soul had been lifted. When the last chord faded, silence lingered for a heartbeat, as if the world needed a moment to process what it had just witnessed. Then, like a storm breaking, the audience erupted into a roar of cheers and claps, their standing ovation thunderous. In that instant, the young singer wasn't just a contestant, he was a bridge between nations, a symbol of victory shared by both America and the Philippines. The third scene was pure emotion written across thousands of faces. As the boy's voice soared through the powerful chorus, the cameras panned across the crowd, capturing reactions that told the story better than words ever could. A Filipino father held his daughter on his shoulders, both of them waving a small Philippine flag with tears shining in their eyes. Nearby, a group of young Americans stood with their hands over their hearts, swaying to the beat as though the song belonged to them too. One woman clutched her chest as if the music had reached deep inside her soul, while another man wiped his tears and whispered, "This is unbelievable." The boy, lost in the song, sang as though every note was carrying a piece of his heart out into the world. His voice cracked slightly with emotion, not from weakness but from the weight of the story he was telling through the melody. The judges could not hold back their reactions. Heidi was openly crying, Sophia smiled warmly as she shook her head in disbelief, and even Simon, known for his toughness, sat frozen, eyes locked on the boy, his jaw tight with emotion. The arena vibrated with connection. It wasn't just a performance anymore, it was a unifying moment. Filipinos in the crowd shouted his name proudly, while Americans clapped along, chanting "Encore! Encore!" as though they couldn't bear for the music to end. By the time he reached the final chorus, the sound of the audience singing softly with him created a breathtaking harmony. It was no longer just one voice singing, it was thousands of voices, American and Filipino together, creating one song. That shared energy turned the stage into more than just a competition, it became a symbol of unity, of victory, and of dreams that transcended borders. The fourth scene erupted with overwhelming emotion the moment the boy struck his final note. For a heartbeat, the arena was frozen in silence, as if everyone needed time to breathe again after such a powerful journey. Then the entire audience leapt to their feet in a roaring standing ovation. The sound of clapping and cheers thundered through the hall like a wave of victory crashing down. Heidi rose quickly, wiping tears from her cheeks as she smiled through her emotion. Sophia stood beside her, applauding with a warmth that showed she knew history had just been made. Howie raised both hands high, shaking his head in disbelief, while Simon sat still for a moment, eyes narrowed and lips pressed tightly together. He leaned into his microphone, his voice softer than usual but heavy with awe as he said, "That was extraordinary. I have never, in my life, heard Hotel California performed like that." His words hung in the air like a seal of greatness. The cameras captured the audience waving both American and Philippine flags, united in celebration of the boy's triumph. Children in the crowd clapped along with smiles as wide as the stage, while older fans mouthed, "Golden buzzer," before it even happened, sensing the magic of the moment. The boy himself stood on stage trembling, clutching his guitar close, eyes wet with tears he had been holding back during the song. He looked overwhelmed, but his smile revealed his heart was overflowing with gratitude. For him, it wasn't just applause, it was acceptance, love, and victory all rolled into one unforgettable moment. That ovation was not only for the boy, but for what he represented, dreams fulfilled, nations connected, and music proving its power to unite souls across the world. The fifth scene reached its peak when Simon suddenly pushed back his chair and stood, his expression shifting from awe to certainty. Without hesitation, he slammed his hand down on the golden buzzer. The theater erupted instantly, a shower of golden confetti exploding from above and raining over the stage like a storm of dreams fulfilled. The boy gasped, dropping to his knees in disbelief as tears streamed down his face. He covered his mouth with shaking hands, overcome with emotion, while the entire arena screamed with joy. His parents rushed from backstage, wrapping him in a tight embrace as confetti clung to their hair and clothes. The boy clutched his guitar with one hand and held on to his parents with the other, his tears mixing with laughter as if he could hardly believe what was happening. The cameras captured both the Philippine and American flags waving proudly in the audience, side by side, fluttering together in the golden glow of the spotlight. Heidi and Sophia clapped wildly, Heidi's face streaked with happy tears, while Howie punched the air with excitement. Simon, still standing, looked at the boy and said with emotion, "This isn't just a performance, it's a moment the world will never forget." The audience chanted his name, their voices echoing like thunder, while children danced under the confetti as if celebrating their own victory. The boy finally stood, lifting both flags handed to him by fans from the front row, raising them high above his head. That image, an arena filled with cheers, golden confetti raining down, and two nations' flags held together in triumph, was more than just a victory on stage. It was a message to the world, that dreams have no borders, and that one voice can unite millions across oceans in a single, unforgettable moment.